Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. We are doing some app smashing with BookWidgets and Genially. My name is Kate Baker. I am a EdTech specialist here at BookWidgets, and I'm also the manager of the ambassador community. And joining me today is Kat Spencer from Genially. Kat, feel free to introduce yourself to everyone.
Hello, hi everyone. So lovely to meet you. As Kay has rightly said, I am Kat Spencer from Genially. So nice to meet you all. I'm the country manager for our USA education here at Genially. So I really do have a fantastic job as I get to work with educators from all over the world, helping them to understand the value that Genially can bring. And also, I get awesome opportunities like this to work with fantastic people from our EdTech community like Kate to help you guys show how we can join forces and create some fantastic tools. So yeah, lovely to meet you and so excited to get started.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely subscribe to this philosophy of better together.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
today's webinar, what we're going to do is we're going to just give you a brief tour of what is Genially for those of you who are not familiar. Going to share a little bit about what is BookWidgets, and then we have so many smashing examples to share, as well as a little bit of a demo to show you how to integrate BookWidgets and Genially together. So Kat, I'm going to let you share, and you're going to talk all about Genially. And
I am very exciting. So fantastic. Awesome. Amazing. Well, thank you guys. As Kate said, thank you so much for inviting us along today. We're really super excited to show you the fantastic ways that you can integrate BookWidgets and Genially together. But just to start off, I do want to do a quick introduction for those of you that might not know what Genially is or want to find out a little bit more about us. So Genially is a digital content creation tool where you can literally create anything. The idea is that we're a one-stop shop when it comes to creating educational resources. So whether that be presentations, infographics, games, escape games, choice boards, the limits really are endless. But the focus with Genially is that it's interactive communication, interactive teaching and learning materials. So let me give you an example really quickly so you can see what that might look like. Okay. On the left here, we have static content. This is at least how I was presented content when I was at school. So we have a text, we have an image, and we've got a YouTube video. So we've tried to make it engaging for our students. But the issue is if I was to collect that YouTube video, I'd be sending my learning journey outside of the resource. And I'd be losing my students to hundreds and thousands of images and videos and gifs of cats and things we don't want to do as educators. However, on the right, I have the same content, but presented with Genially. It now becomes interactive. So you can see here, our students are becoming active learners. They're becoming the protagonists in their learning. So we're clicking on information is coming up. Okay, so we've got interactivity. We've also got animation. So you can see here that this cell has now become animated. We can run our mouse over it and things light up. And then really nicely, and what we're going to see here today with BookWidgets is we have integration. Okay, so the great thing is that you can add integrated apps into Genially. Okay, so here you've got an example of a YouTube video. Today, we're specifically going to be looking at the way that BookWidgets and Genially works together. But you can see here that it becomes really smooth, okay, and everything becomes integrated into one. Okay. So the idea with static content is you bore, but with Genially, you engage. So that's the software, so what you can do with Genially, but the bread and butter of Genially are our templates. Okay, so you've got hundreds and thousands of templates that you can start to work from as educators, which will make your life so much easier and will save you time. Okay, so we will send all of this information so that you've got it, but you just see here an example of some of the fantastic things that you can create with Genially, such as presentations. And we're looking at really high quality resources here. Okay, so these are things that you can start from and templates where all you have to do as an educator is add your content. Okay, and look how interactive and lovely that is. Genially is a freemium platform, so it's always free to start creating, okay? And then we've got some premium options that come after that. But I do recommend that you just take a look and get started and have a look at some of the templates that you can work from, okay? We've also got our back to school kits at the moment. So if you're stuck for ideas, I know we're in the midst of our back to school at the moment. We've got some really nice ideas of how you might be able to use Genially as well, outside of learning resources, but for parents' evening presentations, weekly planners for your students. There literally are templates for everything. And the idea, as always with Genially, is that it's super, super interactive. So here you've got an example of what Genially is, okay, the interactive content that you can start from. And now I'm going to pass over to Kate, and she's going to give you a little bit of an introduction into what you can do with BookWidgets.
Thanks, Kat. What I love about these technology tools is, we're tapping into what, professionals do all the time. Like, I'm not a graphics designer, I'm not a coder. So these tools totally make it easy for us to be able to, create beautiful content for our students.
Exactly.
And also, when we look at what is BookWidgets, for those of you that may not be familiar, BookWidgets is also a content creation and evaluation tool for teachers that will support your students' learning process from beginning to end. So just as Genially has a plethora of templates, so too do we with our widget library. And a widget for us is an interactive template. So it allows you to create this interactive lesson that can be delivered via integration with our trusted learning management systems, but it allows you to act immediately and provide feedback on students' strengths and their shortcomings so that you can support them and help them move forward in their learning process. And then all of this wonderful, insightful learning data is captured on our reporting dashboard. So as I said, with 40 different activity templates, just as like Genially has the, visual design, here with BookWidgets, we have the interactive component for it, that you want to do a jigsaw puzzle, you want to do a split worksheet, a video quiz, you name it, we got it. But that's not all, because we also have 35 different question types that will help to capture your students' learnings. And many of these question types are also auto-graded, so it will save you time not having to manually score your students' work, and that you can concentrate on giving them great qualitative feedback. So just thinking about with BookWidgets of putting all the pieces together, with the library, the auto grading, the LMS integration, the real-time monitoring, and our reporting dashboards, you really can make learning interactive for your students. And the App Smash today is all about amping up our content and really designing it well for our students. But before we dig into the exact particulars, I am very curious to know from our audience 2 questions. 1, how did you hear about this particular webinar? And which platform do you already have an account? So are you already using Genially, or are you already using BookWidgets? Are you already using both? Or are you brand new to all of this and haven't done either yet? So I'll just give you all a quick minute to answer that.
Wow, it's so cool seeing these results. Incredible. Such a diverse audience we've got here.
I know. I love the power of technology. Not only does it, enable, teachers' skills to shine through to reach their students, but also it connects all of us together.
Absolutely.
I couldn't imagine being able to, talk to you, Kat. You're in Spain today?
Yeah, I am. I'm in Spain. It's incredible how technology can link all of the various different communities around the world. It's super, super awesome.
And I love seeing the diversity of our audience. We got Croatia, we have Belgium. Again, with just a couple of clicks, we have quite a diverse audience. All right. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to close that poll. Thank you so much for participating. And it's great to see that a lot of you already have accounts for both, which is awesome. So we're going to definitely share some tips and tricks to be able to really capitalize on the power of both. So when you were looking at embedding a Genially in BookWidgets, I would recommend using either the worksheet, Split Worksheet, or WebQuest widgets. The Split Worksheet will allow you to have the Genially on the side with your questions next to it, whereas the worksheet, you could have the Genially above and then the questions below, and then the WebQuest allows that Genially to be embedded throughout. You can absolutely capitalize on that interactive content of allowing your students to be able to use those fine motor skills of clicking around and practicing that digital literacy. And they're seeing the questions with the learning content. So it's not like they have to jump out to another web page. You have everything on one window or tab right there for them. And then making our jobs easier as educators, being able to collect and auto score those student responses. So let me show you some fantastic examples. So this is by Jean-Philippe, one of our BookWidgets ambassadors. And here he's using the Split Worksheet with the Genially on one side, and we have the questions on the other. Now, what I love about the Split Worksheet is that you can go like this, and you can maximize or minimize your content accordingly, so that
wow,
if
that's so awesome.
And a little bit more time on the questions or vice versa, you can do that. And I'm going to turn let's see if we hear the sound. I don't know if you guys can pick that up. Can you hear it?
A little bit in the background, we can hear it, yeah.
Yeah, we got some like crowd noise. So again, being multimedia here, like we're not only are you visually checking out the content, but there's some audio piece to it too. So, you know, as his students navigate through to learn about Moliere, and I am not a French teacher, but I did read Tartuffe back in the day. But you can see how the questions are over here on the side. We have multiple choice. We have a short answer response. But as they are engaging with the content and interacting with it, they can demonstrate their learning very easily.
What I love about this example, Kate, is the fact that you can see the content and the engaging content and the way that it's been created with the interactive content of Genially, but then we're pairing it with making sure that we're looking after that student assessment and making sure we're touching base with our students and understanding the learning. So I love this example of an app smash, because you can see here you've got that content, the engaging content and the multimedia with Genially, but then we're supplementing it and making sure we're understanding and assessing that learning, which is obviously as teachers what we're really focusing on there. So I love this one. This is a great example.
I also like the visual design too, because you know we've got the red of the curtain for the stage, and then you also have the customizable design here with the book widgets of the red background.
Super nice. It looks really nice together.
All right, here's another example. This is created by one of our BookWidget team members, Dimitri, and he's also doing a split worksheet. So here you can see we can split the screen and divide it accordingly for the content. We have the Genially on the side here, where we can click through, we can interact with the content, and then we have a number of our different question types. So we have a drag and drop here question type where we can put things in order. We have a table question where we can do some math. And then what's great about this particular one is we have the ability to show the answers to the students in real time. So this doesn't have to be an assessment that is summative. We can have our students see in real time if we want them to know formatively how well did they do. What can you tell us about this particular Genially design?
And the great thing, the thing I also love about this one is just the fact that I was just thinking, with the poll that we just did, the great thing is that I can see we've got some people that have had Genially accounts in the past. We've got some that just use BookWidgets, vice versa. We've got some people that have been using them at the same time. The great thing is with this particular app smash, if you've already got content in BookWidgets that you've created in the past and Geniallys that you've created in the past, You don't have to reuse the content. You don't have to redo it. You can literally just smash them together and it will work. So if you've got presentations that you've already been creating in Genially, you can add the book widget side of it and add that extra dimension, or vice versa. You know, you don't have to start completely from scratch, which is super, super awesome. And something
it kind
as
of looks
teachers.
too, like this particular one that Dimitri's created, it looks like it was an existing like PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, what's one of the great things about Genially is that you can import PowerPoint presentations and add those interactive elements. Okay, so the great thing, as we all know as teachers, we're a bit strapped for time sometimes, and we're not wanting to always start from scratch with things. So this great thing is that with this particular app smash, you can use content that you've already created and add that extra dimension. So super, super fantastic.
I just love the ability just to port materials from one over to the other.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
How do you do this? Well, the first thing that you need to do is, once you've created your Genially, that you grab the link to share it, and you do that embed code. And then when you come over to BookWidgets, you can do a web embed and insert that code from Genially very, very easily. Now, I know the GIF is going kind of quick here, or GIF, as you prefer, with the pronunciation. But don't worry, because we'll share the slides and the directions for you to be able to do this once we email you the webinar recording as well. So don't worry, we got you covered. Here comes a web quest, and this is also by one of our BookWidgets ambassadors. This is Claudia from Italy. So you can get an idea of what a web quest looks like. I'm going to scroll down. We have her like introductory image here, and then she's got some navigation. So it's, and as we click through the different tabs to navigate, you'll see that she's got content embedded and linked through out. So if we click on this, it'll take us to another BookWidgets activity. We'll navigate back. She's really made this kind of like an escape room type experience. And here we go. Here's the Genially embedded in here. And look at this design. It doesn't even look like it's a PowerPoint. It looks like it's a newspaper.
Super, super fun. Here we're touching base again with what we were saying about adding that extra dimension to our learning materials, our teaching and learning materials, you know, not just creating these presentations which are static, but creating that interactive content, which we know is effective. So students, there's research that shows that students will remember 10% of what they read, 20% of what they hear, and actually up to 80% of what they do. Okay, so what we're trying to do here with this particular app smash is showing, look, we can create this interactive content, make sure we're pairing it with that assessment, both summative or formative, whichever you're wanting to do. And here you're seeing that we've got this really nice interactive newsletter, this newspaper that we can work from. So super, super nice example here as well from your ambassador. Amazing.
Yeah, awesome. So again, web quests are pretty involved to create, but you know, it does allow for that bucketed content to be all together. So here's another version. This one is also a web quest. And we have this one focused on the Olympics. So again, thinking about design and how we have so many opportunities to do different types of look. So this particular web quest has a customized background image from our Pixabay integration. And then, you know, as they navigate through, they can access some of the resources, clicking through, again, things that are linked in. We're seeing here some flashcards. And then let's go back, find another page. I know that there's a Genially embedded in here somewhere. We have our embedded YouTube video.
I love seeing examples of how like all of the various different app smashes you can do as well, right? I mean, like as Kate was saying before, it's better, we're better together. It's amazing not just seeing how you can app smash both of them, but how you can add YouTube videos and add various different levels as well. Super, super awesome. Looks like you might have found the Genially here.
I did, and it also looks like I'm a little stuck in the iframe to be able to close out that image that we see here. But this, again, being able to embed things in either one is pretty powerful, as well as customizing that design for our students. All right, let's take a look. So how do you add a Genially to a web quest? So again, very similar as what we did with the split worksheet. You're going to grab that link from Genially, go to the tabs in your web quest widget, and then add it in as an iframe code. You can see there he's put it in, and boom, now it's loaded into that web quest. And again, don't worry if the GIF here is going too quick. We will share those resources. But again, all it is, when we think about like what skills do you need to be able to do this app smash, copy paste. That's pretty powerful and simple.
The one thing that hopefully we all know how to do is the copy paste. We hope.
All right. Let's go. I know, right? At this stage in the game, we should totally know how to copy.
At least a copy and paste we can manage, just about.
All right, so how can we embed book widgets activities in Genially? So also simple, it's just copy paste. You can embed any widget in a Genially with a share code and an iframe generator. And then what's great about using some of the settings in that general tab of your editor for book widgets is you could password protect widgets. You could give students a code, so if you, again, want to create this kind of escape room-esque, secret word game, you could use that functionality in book widgets to embrace that kind of pathway for learning. So let's take a look at a few examples. So this particular Genially was created by our staff member, Dimitri, and Le Petit Prince. And then as I navigate through the Genially, I love just, again, the color palette. Like, we're not designers here, necessarily by trade. So doing all that coding, all of that's done for us. And then we can see here is a worksheet that Dimitri has embedded in the Genially itself.
And amazing to see. It's amazing to see them together, especially with the color palettes and things like that. It really adds an amazing dimension to the presentation we've created here. It's awesome.
And having that, again, we're pulling the colors from the Genially itself, so that, design aspect, it feels like it's something that's, kind of professionally made. We are professional educators, but again, by a professional designer to see it all tied together.
Yeah.
And then you can see, again, I'm, not are you only interacting with the Genially, but being able to move things around on the accordingly. And I don't speak French, so don't mind my answers for those of you that do speak French that may be going, no, Kate, don't move that there. Put that over here.
Don't judge me and Kate, okay? We don't speak French. We can do a couple of languages between us, but that's that. But French is not one of them.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at another example. So this one is by Jody Schendel, one of our Book Widgets ambassadors. And I know, Jody, you're here in joining us today.
I love this one, Jody. This was incredible. When Kate showed me this the first time, I was like, wow, this is awesome. So we love this one, Jody.
So I'm going to let you unmute if you'd like to say anything. Oh, maybe not. Oh, there we go.
Hello. Yes. Well, this is just a book widget with just an answer form, basically. And when they listen to the video, they type in the numbers that they hear. Of course, it's just an audio video, and that way they get instant feedback. When they type the right number, it will turn green. And that's the thing my kids love the most about book widgets is the turn green for correct answers, especially when it comes to new concepts that are difficult or translations that we are working on. It really, really helps them. And I see that when I put the turn green for correct answers on book widgets on, my kids work harder. There's less sloppy work. There's less work that's only kind of half done. They will really put that extra effort into making sure it turns green. It's like a aha moment when it turns green. And that's what I really appreciate about it. So I like to put it into Genially as much as possible. So you know, we have some spinny wheels or we have some flashcards, and then we always have an answer sheet where if they answer correctly, it will turn green for that instant feedback.
You mentioned flashcards, Jody. So this particular one is, I love this one because this doesn't just have to be done with students on a screen, like on a Chromebook or an iPad. Like this could be something that's projected onto your front board, whether you're using a, you know, active panel, you know, or, you know, a big board that's interactive at the front of the room, that allows the students to be invited to the front to interact, or as you as the teacher are clicking on the board to be able to navigate through. But inviting students up to have this kind of group experience is really powerful. Talk to us a little bit about the design of this particular one.
This is an activity that I use often before a test. It's kind of a test review thing. And I liked my kids to get up and move around because I think sitting too long is not good, and especially for teenagers. So if you click on the directions there, you'll see how I play it. I have a group leader who has the control of the Chromebook with the flashcards and the Genially, and they swing it around so all players, and then the players answer in secret on a whiteboard, and then the group leader rolls the die, and everybody who had the correct answer on their whiteboard is rewarded with those points. And it's just to mix it up a little bit, get out of your seats, go sit in a group, and just kind of, you know, and that leads to other students explaining why a certain answer was right or why a certain answer was wrong. And it's just a collaborative effort, and my kids really like this.
I love it. You shared so many wonderful examples with me, and I wish I could have put them all on display here, but I know that we also have some additional examples too in the blog post, and you were featured also in that. And let me grab that link and drop it in the chat for everyone who might have missed it. But you speak to the power of, you know, kinesthetic learning and getting students up and moving, like, and how that really is, you know, in this day and age with technology and everyone's so worried about just having faces and screens, being able to do this blended learning type experience is really, really powerful.
I think that's what I like so much about this, but let's say BookWidgets and Genially App Smash, is that I feel like we're really on the same page about really wanting to champion that active learning methodology, right? Of making sure that our students aren't becoming these passive learners and passively receiving the content, but rather are actively engaging and becoming those protagonists, and making sure that in many ways, in terms of getting direct feedback, that they're becoming responsible for their own learning as well. You know, making sure that they understand that they're getting that feedback in real time. I really like the App Smash because of that, the fact that we're on the same page about making sure the students are active in those learning. So these are awesome examples. And thank you, Jodie. It's so nice to see them.
Thank you.
So when we talk about too with gamification and game-based learning, and we talk about, you know, ways that we can get our students involved and experience learning, there's two definitions to call to mind. One with game-based learning is playing games in the service of learning by targeting a specific skill, core competency, or task. So you're playing games to learn and to practice a skill or competency. And then there's this concept of gamification, which I know is a bit of a buzzword not lately, but I really see the power of gamification and using elements from games and taking those features and applying them in other kinds of learning activities. And you can go so far as to, like, you know, make it almost like a Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game where there's, you know, experience points that students are collecting throughout the learning time. But then you could also just simplify it and just make it a game experience for them to acquire that knowledge. So Kat, I know we have quite a few different examples.
Yeah, I think I think what you were just saying there, Kate, in terms of those it depends on how far you want to take it, but game-based learning and gamification is something that we really do truly believe the power of here at Genially. And the idea with Genially is that we've made some templates, which whether you're wanting to work on some core competencies, or whether you're wanting to take it to the full end of the spectrum and create some fantastic looking escape games, we've got templates for you to work from there. So there's 3 kind of forms of templates for gamification and game-based learning that we've got in Genially. We won't go through them in so much detail because, as Kate's rightly put out, this is all going to be sent to you, so feel free to have a look at this in detail in your own time. But if you wouldn't mind just clicking on board games, Kate, that would be awesome. We've got some fantastic templates all around creating board games, quizzes, all that sort of stuff in terms of looking at those game-based learning situations. So especially if you wouldn't mind just clicking on the one of the examples there, whether it be the snakes and ladders one or anything like that, that would be awesome. What you can see here is we've got an example of a board game where your students, whether this be on an interactive whiteboard or whether this be something that they're doing in their own time, they're learning specific competencies. Okay, so you're giving them questions that they can work through, and then if you've got little counters that they can work on. So we're kind of imitating this board game, but in a digital setting. Okay. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind clicking one of the dots as well, Kate, I think that might be useful. So if you go out of the little dice, there's one of the dice.
Hang on, the dice is fun.
But one of the little dots, I don't know if you can see here that you can add little questions and you can add things like that. But what we're going to see with the BookWidgets integration as well is that you might be able to use an app smash to give it that extra level. If you wouldn't mind clicking out of the board game, so the little X in the corner, Kate, that would be amazing.
Oops, nope, come on. I don't need I'm getting stuck on the
There we go. Is that working there?
Yeah,
awesome. And then and then the X again, you might have to click, and we'll just go back to see if that will work for you.
Let's go back this way. Nope.
Go back the other one. And if we just go, that would be awesome. And then just go to gamify the class and have a look quickly at the other end of the spectrum. So breakouts. If we have a look at some of the templates we've got in terms of our escape games and breakouts, the idea of Genially is we've got hundreds and thousands of templates all around creating escape games. We're quite well known for our escape game templates on various different types of themes and various different levels of learners. And the idea with escape games is that you're still providing them with that learning content. You're still providing them with making sure that we're assessing the learning, but we're doing it in a gamification setting. Okay, so imagine doing this in a classroom situation. So you've got an escape game. You can either divide your students into teams. You can do it as a class activity. And the idea is that they have to, as you would with a normal escape game, you have to break out of the escape game. Okay, so they've got various different types of questions that they ask, and at the end, they break out of the game. So we've got some fantastic templates in terms of gamification. So do take a look at them, and they're really, really easy to do. And the idea is, as teachers, the idea is that we've done the hard bit of making it look good for you. Okay, so Genially have done all of the templates. All you have to do is add that learning content. Okay, so it's definitely worth taking a look and seeing what sort of templates we've got there in terms of gamification.
Awesome. And when we look at how you can make this interactive and game-based on the BookWidgets side of things, we have our game widgets specifically. So you want to do a jigsaw puzzle, pair matching, word search, crossword, the snowman, or spot the difference, or even a bingo game. You can do all of that within with BookWidgets. What's great about gamification is if you think about how to use both game-based learning and gamification, it's a way that you can activate your students for engagement and retention of information. It's fun. So, that they can experience, and again, use those fine motor skills to click around the screen, but then you could use it as a way to build their curiosity. So maybe as a do now activity or a bell ringer, you could have students play a game in order to review information from previous lessons, or to preview what you will be learning in the upcoming lesson. Plus, it's just nice to add some whimsy and delight.
It's just fun, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's also a really fun thing to do in the classroom. And at least we always like to think about using the gamification classrooms. You can use them for assessment for learning, but you can also use them as icebreakers. You can also use them for time fillers. You know, it's just depending on how far you're wanting to take it. Gamification is known for being a really effective classroom technique. So it's definitely worth exploring loads of the different, whether it be in BookWidgets or Genially, the various templates we've got around it.
So this was the periodic table. This is a Genially that I found from the Genially team in the inspiration section on Genially. And then I found some BookWidgets games by going to the blog group inside BookWidgets and was able to, in less than 5 minutes, smash both the periodic table, Genially presentation, and the BookWidgets games for the periodic table together into this interactive experience for them. So we have the periodic table. I'm going to click on it. We got a pair matching game in BookWidgets. So for this one, you know, you can have it set up where it's taking them out to another tab, or you can have it where it'll be embedded. So that, you know, is your choice too, if you want them to stay inside the Genially. And Kat's going to show us how to do that window embedding. Whereas here I'm showing how to do the, you know, different window that may pop up. But you can see again the functionality and the immediate feedback that students will be receiving. You know, we have, if you want to make it a bingo game, you know, where again, we're doing this kind of blended experience where the teacher's playing bingo with a small group of students or with the whole class. You could do that digitally. And in addition to, you know, individual games that students could be doing, you know, here's our crossword puzzle that students can use to put together to help memorize the pieces of the periodic table. So, and all this is just a shape. I embedded these icons. If you, what's great, I love too about Genially, about the design of like, as I hover over, I can set it so that like the image pops up for emphasis. You know, you can also do quite a few other things, make them bounce around, spin.
You can literally give it all of the bells and whistles that you want. You really can.
So let's do a live demo and show how to put that smash together. So Kat, you're going to take over screen share again, right?
I am, and I'm very, very excited to be able to show you how easy it is to integrate and embed BookWidgets directly into your Geniallys. Okay, so what you are seeing here, just before we start, I just wanted to show you the panel. So this is what Genially looks like when you go into Genially. For those of you that don't know or haven't used us before, this is your panel. So this is where all of the Geniallys you create are stored. And as you can see here, we've got our periodic table of elements, which is the one which Kate has created, the one that you've seen has been embedded in our Genially presentation. Before we get going, I just wanted to show you, we mentioned in the first half of this webinar that in order to integrate and embed a Genially into a BookWidget, you're going to need the iframe. I really quickly want to show you how you can find that, just in case you are wanting to play around with integrating Genially into BookWidgets. It's super, super easy. All you have to do is go to that share button on any Genially that you've created. Click on the insert section here, and this is the iframe. This is what you're looking for. Okay, so super simple. Just go to share, insert, and then copy, and then you can go back to your BookWidgets login and integrate the Genially into any BookWidgets that you create. Super, super simple. I just wanted to show you that so you could see. But what we're going to look at now is actually what the editor looks like. So you can see how simple it is to integrate and embed a BookWidgets into Genially. It could not be easier. Honestly, it's amazing. So here we've got the periodic table that Kate created before. And as you mentioned, we have got here a little bit of the practice game. So this is what it looks like from our creator side of things. I've also got here my BookWidget that has been created around creating the periodic table with some questions around the elements. It's super, super simple to integrate it. So you've either got the option to have it as a link, which is what is currently happening, or you have the option to embed it so that the book widgets is directly into the Genially. Depends on what you're wanting to do, but it's really nice to see how easy it is to work together. So in order to do that, what I'm going to need is two things. I'm going to need the book widget that I want to integrate, and I'm going to need this website, which is called iframegenerator.com. I'm just going to put that in the chat so that you have it, okay, just so you've got it there, and then you can use it for future reference. It's a great website. It's free to use. Don't have to have login details. Super, super easy. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that URL for the book widgets. We're going to go to iframegenerator.com. All we have to do is copy and paste that book widgets URL, okay? And we click generate. You can see here now that I've got an iframe code generated, okay? If I wanted to, I could also click preview so I can see what that's going to look like when I integrate it into my Genially. Looks good to me. So we're just going to copy it. And then I'm going to go back to my Genially editor. Okay, so I'm back in the Genially editor. And now we're going to put it into my periodic table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, so as you can see, any element that I click on in Genially, I have the option to add an interactivity. Okay, so anything that you have in Genially, you've got three icons that come up. And this is the one for interactivity, the little hand with the arc over the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my little icon here, which is the game that I want to have integrated. And you can see we've already got an interactivity. We're going to click on that. And the first thing we're going to do is just delete that interactivity. So we've got nothing there. I can then go back to add interactivity. And I've got 7 different types of interactivities that I can add with Genially. Today, we're going to go with window. Okay. You're going to see what that looks like in a second. But then I've got various different templates of windows that I can add. We're just going to go for a blank one today. And I'm going to edit the window. And then just go to Insert here. On this left-hand side, you can see I have various different ways that I can customize my Genially. We're going to go to Insert, Others. Here you can see various different providers which are supported by Genially, BookWidgets being one of them. I'm going to select Insert, just copy and paste that iframe that we used before. And now you can see that as if by magic, this book widget is now integrated into my Genially, which is amazing. So I'm going to just make that big enough so I can see it. I'm going to go back to page and just preview that so you can see what that looks like. Anytime you're wanting to preview what your creation looks like in Genially, you can just click on this eye. And then you are now going to see what that looks like. So we can see here now that when I hover my mouse and I click on the icon, I actually have that book widget directly integrated into the page and my students can interact with it. How awesome is that? How amazing of an app smash is that? So you've got here the example of having the Genially and you've got the book widget directly integrated so that your students or your teachers, they can all integrate and interact with it at the same time. Super, super fun and super, super easy.
And what's great about the community aspect too is, you know, not only are you smashing 2 tools together, but if, you know, you're teaming up with colleagues in your department or, you know, you have friends, teacher friends that are across 100%. The country or the world, you know, you can share your content with one another, duplicate it, and make these versions very easily. So not only are you smashing the content, but it doesn't have to be something that you are creating all on your own. Again, together.
It's amazing and so time saving as well, right? As soon as the great thing about anything like this is if you create something like this, it can be used with other teachers, it can be shared with other teachers. And the great thing is where you've got this app smash, when you've got online content, everything updates in real time. Okay, so anything which is created or changed in BookWidgets will be changed as well in Genially. Okay, so it just really nicely speaks together. We love it. We love how it integrates, and we hope you do too. So amazing.
Just nice. And it's also, save us time. We don't have to do this every new school year, have to remake it again. We can just invest the time once to create these activities and then share them out accordingly.
No, awesome. Absolutely amazing. Love it.
All right.
And back to you.
Back to me for sharing. So thanks for that live demo. And again, don't worry if you're like, wait, where did she click? What did you do again? Because we will be sharing those resources very easily with everyone with the recording so that, again, you can click through as well. And speaking of some additional resources, if you ever need support in BookWidgets, we have support at bookwidgets.com. We're only an email away. We have lots of other webinars. So if you visit our webinar page, bookwidgets.com/webinars, you'll be able to see all of the ones that we've previously been doing. And we have them in 4 different languages: English, French, German, Dutch. And for those of you who might be new to BookWidgets, we have some great getting started webinars there, as well as our tutorials, knowledge base, and our BookWidgets Facebook community where you can connect with teachers around the world. And I mentioned it earlier, that BookWidgets blog, and in BookWidgets, we have the BookWidgets group, which is a great one to join. And let me just show you where you can find that. So I'm in BookWidgets. I've logged into my account. I'm going to come over here to widgets. And then as I scroll down, you'll see my groups. When you click there, you can come over here and discover groups. And if you type in BookWidgets blog, oh, there it is. You can just click that link. It'll open up. And then now, holy smoly, look at all the awesome BookWidgets activities you'd be able to play with. Every single one that is featured in our blogs are here. So you can request to join this group and join it. And then quickly as anything else, you'll be able to go in. Oh, look at all these cool things. I want to be able to use this. You could then come over here and duplicate it and save it into your account and edit and share it accordingly. So some great things to do with BookWidgets. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording in just a sec, and we're going to do some Q&A, and we've had some great comments in the chat so far. So thank you, everyone, for lots of oohs and ahs, impressive, and awesome.
We love it. So nice to see that you guys found it useful and interesting. If there's any questions you have, now is your moment. Let us know. Anything, whether it be Genially, BookWidgets, @smashing, let us know.